Hello! Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back, everybody. Like, there's a little wisp of hair that keeps getting into my mouth somehow. Corliss can get murked. I'm on the Steam. Yeah, the first time I was, like, completely for Corliss, which was interesting. This time, nah, fucker. In my mouth. Oral-only tradition. Oh, God, you continue searching through the remains of Elysium for over an hour, but other than a few charred corpses hidden beneath collapsed walls, you find nothing of note. Slowly, over the course of your investigation, you can feel Fade clawing his way back into your consciousness. You're thinking clearer now, and your mind recuperates from the Archon's invasive questioning. Your ability to feel Fade's presence grows. Oh, and as your mind recuperates from the Archon's invasive questioning, your ability to feel Fade's presence grows. I love feeling Fade. You can't quite commune with him yet, but we can touch, and that's all that matters. But you're confident that you'll get there soon. It's a relief to know that you won't be cut off completely. While he can be difficult at some times, he's a part of you, whether you like it or not. Severing that bond would be like cutting off a limb. You're just about ready to wrap things up when you nearly bump into Ophelia. Oh, you exclaim. I'm sorry. I didn't see you there! Shit! What are you doing? The Primogen smiles and inclines her head. Apology accepted, child. But since you've sought out my attention, perhaps it's time we finally speak again. Well, I actually didn't seek out your attention, Ophelia. This feels scripted because I have the DLC, because I didn't bump into you before. That's the morning time. To be flailing, oh dear. He'll settle down eventually. Yeah. I think he's already a lot more settled in than he first was. Oh, you mean like midnight zoomies wise? Yeah. Mr. Mogg is a little sleepy cat at night. He passes out like a fucking rock. Brie. I love brie cheese. But Mouse does not. But I know it'll happen someday. You consider reminding her that you hadn't so much... reminding her as if this is something that happened more than all of 10 seconds ago? Maybe pointing at... Sometimes the wording of this game makes it feel like it was a little rushed. Anyways, you consider pointing out to her that you hadn't so much sought her out as bumped into her. But think better of it. Actually, you're starting to wonder if the collision had been accidental at all, or if she had been the one to seek you out. Anyways, back to the actual script. Of course, you say. Let's just step over here. You gesture to a secluded corner of the room, far enough away from the others that you wouldn't be overheard, but still in full view, lest she have something untoward in mind for you. What can I do for you, Ophelia? What can I do for you, you ask? You feel around for Fade again, but he keeps slipping through your fingers, elusive while still remaining tantalizingly close. Fade, what are you doing? Step Fade. I must apologize, Ophelia says. I need to calm down. I must apologize, Ophelia says. When we spoke during Alicia's exhibition, I was needlessly enigmatic. It's part of the game, you see. This draft of the persona. But while my meaning was vague, it was centered in truth. There's a brilliant light in your aura, wreathed by shadow. I would accept your apology, however, that is just as vague and meaningless. So, no. I won't accept your apology. That wasn't the only thing you said. You said Arundel was not hiding, was only hiding, not really missing at all. good thing to point out. That actually is reminding her of something. I'm not sure I like the idea that you followed here, peering into my aura. What? Huh? Let's go with that second one. Ophelia shakes her head. I'm beginning to think that things are more complicated than they initially seemed, but I wasn't entirely wrong, either. You'll see in time. That is still vague and meaningless, Ophelia. You're being a bitch. She eyes you for a moment, and you can sense that her eyes is gazing through Jesus. That her gaze is looking through your skin into the heart of whatever spirit it is that keeps vampires like yourself ambling around for so many years after their initial deaths. It's hiding now, she says, before her eyelids flutter shut for several seconds. When she opens them again, her vision has returned to normal. We have time. Then speak the fuck up. Time for what? You ask. You've just about had it with the Primogen's uselessly enigmatic probing. What would you have of me? Something is blocking you from reaching your true potential. A construct living in your mind. We, children of Malcave, are blessed with gifts beyond that of other kindred. We have insight into other worlds, other slices of reality. I see a recurring obsession in you that nearly mirrors my own. A fascination with the concept of truth. Nothing is true. Everything is forbidden. Wait, everything is permitted. Got that backwards, whoops. You could be so much more than you are now, and I could show you the way. But first, you must exorcise this demon from... Do not step on my kid. No, mouse. No! Come here. Yeah, come here. Oh, you little... Fuck. Ugh. Exorcise the demon, indeed, yeah. Indeed. Duh. You must exorcise this demon from your mind. Make no mistake. It is enemy, not friend. So she does know about Fade. But how can she know about Fade? There's no way that she could read that much from your aura. Your own powers may be insignificant compared to hers, but you understand the limitations of such abilities. Where's she getting her information from? And for that matter, could she be right? Did you fart, dude? What does that smell? Goodbye. Thanks. Fade has left much unexplained of late, and his behavior has been increasingly erratic. One night he's his old self, the next he's almost like a stranger. She is Fade. Maybe playing the long con, who knows? Oh, don't knock that over. Alright. If Ophelia is right, could some powerful ability be lying dormant, waiting to be discovered? It may be worth exploring, but the question now is, do you want to play Ophelia's game in the interest of discovering the truth? The truth. Or should you play it safe and choose not to investigate? She may not have as much information as she wants you to think, and if that's the case, she might be fishing for confirmation of a theory. If you let her in on your secret, the Primogen could make a powerful ally, but she could also be a terrible foe. Is it worth the risk? What do you think of me right now, Ophelia? You don't like me very much. Well, maybe that could change. It's the DLC. I kind of want to explore it a little bit, because this is definitely an interaction you do not get unless you play the Malkavian. This is getting ridiculous. Oh dear. The way that has to be pronounced just sounds like the fucking Count from Sesame Street. Sesame Street. Ridiculous. Oh dear. Oh fuck. Next audio. Strad number 3. His voice is changing. Strad number 3. I know I made the joke. Mess up a lot of words. Oh, I do. It's terrible. Strad. I'm sorry, I don't know what you're talking about. No. Let's say you may be onto something. If there really is a construct, how might I go about removing it? I'll take your words under advisement. If I discover any construct, I'll come to you as soon as I can. My business is my own. First, I'm gonna give you the finger, and then I'm gonna demand my phone call. Sure, why not? It's the DLC. It's nearing the end of the game. I always believe that he's a gift of Malkav, and I have no interest in removing or destroying him. Let's say you might be onto something here. Huh? If you make it so I picture the fucking Count from Sesame Street. Oh dear. Ophelia's eyes may shine bright at your admission, but they go positively radiant when you request her help. Is this my D&D group talking about D&D? In the D&D chat on the D&D day? I'll let somebody else answer that question. We have to bring an extra chair because the person that usually hosts it has they're just like one chair short. Sweet, I'm going to sweet. We will work together to find your true potential, she says. I sense great things coming from this partnership. Mouse, what the fuck are you doing? It's the litter box. It's not like a fucking play box. Get out of there. Yeah, stop. Hi. Hello. Hi, Dad. Hi, Dad. Hi, Dad. Hi, Dad. Hi, Dad. You little iggy piggy. Man. You gotta stop going in there when you want attention. It's really annoying and it wakes me up at night. It's a bad habit, and when I get a bigger place, that thing is going at the opposite side of the house. Hello? Hello? Oh, big purrs. Oh, that's very sweet. Hello, hello, you can sit here. Yeah, that's okay. Your skin crawls. You need to provide some distance while still retaining her help. Partnership? Yeah, that's not the word I used. I couldn't possibly agree to that. Corliss simply wouldn't have it. Ophelia smiles knowingly. Of course, she says. I wouldn't dream of separating a child as loyal as yourself from their side. I merely referred to our plan to reveal your true strength. It's a journey that intrigues me, and I would like to be a part of it. Lies and obfuscation always fall apart under scrutiny. Ow! You just need to know where to look. You need your fucking claws trimmed down a little bit, dude. That hurt a lot. Ooh. Consider my personal expertise and implement in your toolkit. I'm a D&D widow 3 nights a week. Oh no, I'm sorry. It is our time, not D&D. Oh, I'm sorry, Nest the Raven. His little ears, he's so small. Mouse is actually quite big. He's a good boy. What are you guys on about? I don't speak about her. Oh, dear. You still haven't exactly told me what these lies are, or what they're hiding. Lies come in many forms, Silas, Ophelia says. Some wearing the prettiest of disguises. Do not jump on the keyboard. If you're gonna jump, jump off. Lies you want to believe because they comfort you or make you feel whole. But a lie will never make you feel whole. There will always be that lingering doubt that something more is out there, that you were deceived by the one closest to you. I know this feeling well, and would see you cleansed of it through the light of truth. That doesn't... She cuts you off. I wasn't finished, Silas. The lie is that this construct is natural, that it is a gift from Malcave. Jesus, I gotta stop saying Malkav. Cave. Your aura doesn't lie. In fact, it reveals the truth. You may have seen this light in your dreams. What do you think is holding it back? You think back to the dream, where Fade was trapped in a small cage, doing everything in his power to hold back a terrifyingly magnificent light. Jump on the keyboard. No, if he jumps on it, there's a chance he could, close the game. Not the on about what? I am so lost in these conversations. You're right. I have seen this light. How can you possibly know about this unless you were manipulating my dreams, which is something you can do? This construct has been with me as long as I remember. If it's not my true gift, then I got nothing, Ophelia. What the fuck are you on about? Maybe true. Why not? Right? Why not? What do we have? Wait, have we seen light? Yeah, early on, actually, I think it was after the first time we talked to Ophelia. Coinky-dink. Probably not. We had a dream about a Fade being in a cage and this light shining around him and him talking about how he was trying to hold it back. It is sus, yeah. Environmental damage, which I'm strongly opposed to. Okay, fair. Self-deception is unfortunately common among our kind, Ophelia says. There may be a reason you've convinced yourself of this and developed a coping mechanism in its place. Meditate on it, and you may find the truth. She places her left hand on your cheek, gently, with deliberate purpose. We will speak again when the time is right. For now, I believe we have attracted enough attention. When the time is right? You ask. You feel dazed. A little funny. Like there's a corona around every light source in Elysium. Is this what Revelation feels like? How will I know when that is? I will find you, or you will find me. It is the way of things. She turns and leaves you alone with your thoughts. Gaslight, gatekeep, girl boss. That's like the Malkavian way. I leave you alone for a few minutes, and you sell me out to Ophelia. Fade grumbles. How many of Corliss's reports have you read on that woman? She's a master manipulator, a thief and a liar. Everyone knows it. And now she's got her hooks into us. Just great. He seems genuinely distressed, maybe even a little hurt by the conversation. Usually he's self-assured and irreverent, but these latest developments have left him feeling almost wounded. Genuinely wounded. It barely took a minute for Fade to reassert himself after Ophelia was gone, and from what you can tell, he heard at least some of your conversation with the Primogen. You shake your head. She wouldn't have any hooks in us if you'd be a bit more honest with me. She makes a compelling argument, and I think you know it. Fade crosses his arms as he tries his best to look disapproving. It's... I just wish she'd leave us alone. She thinks she understands us because she's Malkavian, because she of all kindred should know that we have different gifts and insights. Oh, but she of all kindred should know that we have different gifts and insights. Not all of us are the same. It's like expecting a biologist to understand advanced chemistry or economics, since they've got a doctorate. The disciplines are different. They might have some overlap, but they shouldn't be confused for one another. He watches Ophelia from across the room as she chats with Vivian the Bitch Meyer. What does she have against me? What have I done to her? Maybe it's not something you did to her. Maybe it's something you did to me. Silas, I know that sometimes we both need to be reminded of this, but I can't outright hide anything from you. Do you know why? He doesn't wait for a response. Because I am you. Look over there. He gestures to one of Key's workers, who quickly does everything he can to avoid looking back in your direction. That guy was just gawking at us. Do you know why? Because you're standing here and talking to yourself. Arguing with yourself. So don't get mad at me when you should be looking in a mirror. I don't even have a body. How could I possibly hide anything from you? Sometimes people hide things from themselves, you say. Doesn't take an elder like a Rundel to manipulate memories when you can do it to yourself. And so, what? You want to just listen to Ophelia and kill me off, just to learn something you already know? Did you ever consider that if there's something hidden in your subconscious, that maybe it's hidden from me too? Or that it's hidden for a very good reason? So there is something hidden in my subconscious then, Faye. That's kind of what you're saying right then? Did that, like, slip out by accident? Make sure not to vocalize. What possible reason could there be for me to hide my own memories? This can't be right. Someone's playing a game with me. Long story short, Fade, I'm a little fucked up in the brain and life won't calm down. Yeah, you did, Wyvern. You did mention that before. I think that's a pretty good theory. I see, Fade says. He looks down at the ground and stares into the empty sockets of one of Elysium's victims. I've done everything for you, you know. Not that I ever had a choice. You have free will. I just live rent-free in your head. Just like the real Fade, right? You know what I mean, you say. Those dreams you won't acknowledge, all these strange events converging on me. You might not know what they mean, but you clearly know more than you're letting on. Trust is earned, and I think we need to work back towards it if we're going to work together at all from now on. I think I'm going to need some time, Fade says. To think. I'll be here if you ever need me, though. Just call, okay? And then he's gone. And who made that little discomforted noise? Are you lying on your brother? Is he under there? Are you lying on top of him? Is he okay? I don't know why, but Mouse loves to, like, sit on top of Mog, and Mog is smaller. So sometimes a little worried, like, is he getting squished? It's not like a massive size difference. Mog should be able to push him off if he's, like, struggling, but I don't know. Mouse is a chonky cat. I feel like it'd be okay if it was the other way around, but it's like a dad in a Zoom meeting. That's awesome. It's because Mouse was the one bullied. Yeah, I know. He grew up with a dog, and so like a big dog, I think it was like a boxer or something. That I think he would just take snoozes on, and when he was like a kitten. So it might not get into his mind that his new older brother is not the size of a big dog. The part of you that's been inseparably close to him for decades instinctively wants to reach out and come to a more complete understanding. But you deny those urges. You're never going to get to the bottom of this by following your baser instincts. I'll call for you if I need you, you say. Think all you need, and maybe we'll be able to come to an accord. But for now, I'm doing things my way. It's time to move on. You can't keep standing around in a crime scene talking to yourself, or you will attract more attention than it's worth. Yeah, I did not get a great handle on control, yeah. It doesn't help that now Mog is tiny and struggles to whack him back. You're just about ready to leave when Luca waves you over to the back of the burned-out Elysium suite, overlooking a surprisingly intact floor-to-ceiling window. Her clothes have been slathed in an obscene amount of hardened, dark red blood, and you catch yourself wondering just how many other deaths she investigated as closely as the bodies she found slashed to ribbons by sharp claws. Did you really, Princess Lydia? That's awesome. You know, I was actually excited to come back here, she says. Her voice is low. She doesn't want it to carry to the others. You move in closer so you can hear her. To Canada. I mean, not Elysium. Did I ever curse the city? Did I curse the city? We're vampires, after all. A genuine curse isn't exactly out of the realm of possibilities. She waves the question off before you can answer. I know it's stupid. You don't have to tell me. Everyone plays the lead role in their own head. I'm no more to blame for this than you are. Of course you're not to blame. We both know you were underground with the rest of the hunt when this happened. If curses are real, and you've been subjected to me, you might want to lay low for a little bit. Jesus Christ, you've been running hot for a few weeks. Oh, and you've been subjected to one. Wait, so you've been the lead role all this time. I thought I was the main character. That's funny. That's kind of a funny line. Hot nurse smut. Oh dear. Of course you're not to blame. Come on, don't be silly. That wasn't really my point, Luca says. It just feels strange. Wouldn't you feel weird if you returned home to a place you hadn't been to in years? And as soon as you arrived, things started blowing up and people were dying? Even if you didn't actually believe that you were the reason for it, you'd feel a little cursed. It's a natural reaction. That's a pretty compelling point, you say. Maybe you are the reason. You meet her eyes to let her know you're just joking, trying to break the tension. You're making fun of me. Maybe a little bit, you admit. But only because you were suggesting that this is all your fault. You know that's not true. It's just a silly thing to say. You're laying it on a bit thick, but she doesn't seem to mind. It is it? You step up to the tall glass window beside her. Yeah, but I wouldn't hold it against you. Are you sure about that? Luca asks, an impish smile on her face. Because I was hoping you'd come home with me tonight. Maybe I will hold it against you. That's a great idea. I think you may have gotten the wrong idea. Are you sure? Alright, so none of these have like a sassy response, so I guess we're just going to go with, that's a great idea. After everything we've been through, I think we could both use a little comfort and intimacy. I'm glad you agree, Luca says. Her eyes are dark and wide, pupils slightly dilated as you watch her. If she were mortal, you'd wonder if she were high. Kindred rarely show overt and genuine emotions, but you feel like this may be the closest thing a vampire's cold flesh is capable of. It stirs the blood, doesn't it? She traces a finger down your chest. The danger of it all. Weren't you just upset about it? You ask, genuinely confused. You don't want to misstep, not now out of all times. What's changed? Luca looks down at her feet, then up back at you, almost shyly. It took you less than a minute to make me realize I was being ridiculous. I'm a worrier. I'm not used to excitement. I didn't know whether to curl up in a ball or hide and let the predator inside me revel in the chaos. I called you over here for a reason. And what was that? She rolls her eyes and lowers her voice. Because you calm my anxiety and excite me at the same time. Ever since we fought off Moretti, I knew there was something between us. At first I thought it was just the rush of combat by your side, but then you chose to come with me and follow Basaris. You could have just walked away, but you listened to me. You believed in me when no one else did. I like the way you make me feel, but I was afraid you'd say no if I pushed too far, too fast. But I didn't say no. You say, looking into her pitch-black eyes. You can see yourself in them. I'll make sure you're glad you didn't. Sheesh! Whew, man, oh god. You barely remember the reckless drive back to Luca's suite, or her rushed fumbling for keys to unlock the door toward a modicum of privacy. God, I feel like I mispronounced that word. I looked it up once. Oh well. The elevator proved a safe haven from prying eyes, and neither of you failed to take advantage of it. You can still feel the sweet phantom pain of her teeth where they grazed your neck just before the elevator opened. She pulls back and grabs you by the hand, leading you almost giddily to the front door of her suite. Something changes about her that's hard to put a finger on at first, until she wraps your arm around her wrist. Around her waist. Oops. Until she wraps your arm around her waist. She's warm, flush with the blush of life. You stir the blood within your own veins to a similar purpose, and within seconds your cold skin heats, rising in tune with the strength of your passion, as Luca kisses you and flings the door shut with her left hand while her right drags you to the bedroom. A ghostly image of Fade leans back in the nearby couch and crosses his arms. He shakes his head in mock disapproval. You kids play safe now, he says, as you do your level best to ignore him. Fine. You know where to find me if you need me. I'm not that kind of voyeur. Leave it to Fade to reappear at the least comfortable time. Mock disapproval. Waist, wrist, potato. I follow Luca's direction. She obviously wants to be controlled. Does she? What's the rush? No, I take the initiative and pull her into my lips. If she's comfortable enough with such a burst of passion, then I can meet her in the middle. I intend to make her mine tonight. I think that Luca will enjoy seeing my dominant side. Shit! God damn! So what are we doing? What are we doing? Fuck, man. I see the game is giving us 4 options. One is back out. Another one is switch. Oh my goodness. Wow. The last one, yeah? Let me look up so that I don't, like, fuck up the story. Let me look up if there's one that she actually, like, canonly works better in the game. Luca Romance Guide. I don't think this game is popular enough. Oh, every romance. Hold on, okay. Achievement guide. No, no, no. Achievement guide. No, 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 no. Don't want the achievement. Achievement guide. Romance guide. Okay. Okay, Sheriff Key. Jordan. Okay, Luca. Here we are. Oh. It doesn't say. Okay. So I guess we get to choose. I think leave. Oh, dear. I was looking to see if there was one that, like, boosted her relation points with us. Let's go with the last one. Why not? Woo! Man! Okay, that gets spicy. How you know, you couldn't quite say, but some innate sensibility is telling you that Luca's need runs deep. And her actions tonight show that you are the only one capable of sating her. You wrap your hand loosely in her long, beautiful hair and pull her to you, kissing deeply as a shudder of desire runs through her skin to yours. She almost pulls back at first, surprised by your initiative, but it takes less than a second for her to embrace you back. Did this boost? Let's see, let's take a peek. Didn't change at all. Okay, maybe that wouldn't affect any of it. You run the tips of your fingers down the side of her delicate neck, eliciting a moan as a sharp trembling travels from her lips to yours. You pull away ever so slightly and work your way down her neck, biting with increasing pressure as you do so, but not hard enough to break the skin. You need this, you say as you pull her close, tight against your chest, to just let go and forget everything. Just for a moment, a night, to give up control and see where it takes you. Her lips part slowly. Yes, she whispers, more than you know. You pull back slowly and lead her to the bedroom. Taking her here in the front hallway simply wouldn't be proper. The first time, at least. But you wouldn't dismiss the idea of visiting other rooms in the suite on future occasions. She ascends the bed on shaky knees before turning around and watching you, curious to see what you'll do next. You step forward and cup her chin, bringing her gaze up to meet yours. Is there something you want me to do to you? You ask. Don't make me beg, she whimpers. Please. She grinds herself against you as she all but thrusts her tender skin against your fangs. You can smell her sweet vitae, so close, so willing, and it makes the temptation impossible to resist. Seconds pass like hours as you feel your fangs pierce her neck. ponderous yet inevitable, as you quest to the center of her, the core of her essence, and drink deeply of it. A trickle, a heady rush of excitement, then bliss, as she falls back, going limp in your arms. She quivers as you take her, limbs rising with subtle twitching, as you sate a need deeper and more primal than either of you. Something as old as time itself. The hunger. Wowie kazowies, Batman! That was a lot more than I thought we'd get out of this game. Whoo, boy! Sheesh! I was not expecting that. That's quite impressive. I have to say, I gotta say it. The smutty scene with Luca is actually at least like 10 times better than the one with Key. The one with Key was so vague. You both like snuggled up in bed together. Curtain was drawn. Something happened. You wake up. Wow. The sun sets outside Luca's haven and pulls your consciousness back to your body, away from a dream far less pleasant than the woman curled up beside you. Her skin is as cold as yours, but the memory of her warmth is more than enough to dispel the chill. You're not sure when the two of you fell asleep, whether it was from exhaustion or simply a natural reaction to the sun rising. But the slumber had been a deep and revitalizing one. You feel ready to take on the world. Luca shifts beside you, small twitches giving way to full-bodied stretching. Oh, it's night already? She looks at you, as if she expects you to disappear at any moment. It was real, wasn't it? I was afraid it was a dream. I had the same thought, but I'm pretty sure we're both quite real. You must have enjoyed yourself if you passed out that hard. Cool guy shades on. You don't regret last night, do you? We're having such a good time I didn't even notice the sun. No, that's the first one's pretty good. She pokes you in the arm. Then she pokes you again. This may require more testing. You feel real, but one can never be too sure. It takes you several minutes to figure out where all your clothes disappeared to, but soon enough the two of you have made yourselves halfway presentable. You can feel something tugging at you, a new feeling in the back of your mind. From the covert looks Luca occasionally sends your way, it's easy to tell that she can feel it too. A budding blood bond. You'll need to be more careful from now on. A vampire who drinks too much of another kindred's blood can become a slave to their desires, almost as readily as a mortal ghoul. As wonderful as last night's bout of passion was, you'll have to be careful to not give in to your desires too frequently. An electric buzzing from the granite countertop in the kitchen disrupts your thoughts as Luca and stops Luca in her tracks. My phone, she says. Hold on a second. I don't get many notifications, so it might be important. You're surprised that she's getting any notifications at all, given Arundel's tech and social media ban, but many kindreds seem to be treating it as more of a suggestion than an edict. The two of you might need to have a talk about that one of these nights. Younger kindred rarely experience the same leniency as elder or primogen. Bad girl? Luca, you've been a bad girl. Anything interesting? I ask idly. Really shouldn't be doing that. Flips are okay, but Arundel, I keep to myself. She might not appreciate my comments on her internet usage. Yeah, why not? If you know anything about people's interactions with smartphones, it's that nobody likes to have someone looking over their shoulder or lecturing them about the device's usage. You wonder what the mysterious notification could have been about. Finally, Luca looks up from the screen, eyes wide as saucers. They're meeting. She says simply, fairly trembling with excitement. Sorry. Who is they? And how do you know about it? I may or may not have pushed a spyware update onto the phone Basaris is using. It duplicates his texts and then forwards them to me. You sigh with exasperation. Is everybody using those things but me? Probably, Lucas says with a grin. But you're missing the forest for the trees. You didn't ask who Basaris was meeting with and why. She pauses, expectantly. I don't think I've ever heard that expression before. You're missing the forest for the trees? Huh? Okay. You reply. Who? Alicia Gray. She stole something that belongs to Arundo. She wants to hand it over to Basaris. No, I don't think I ever have heard that before. You think for a moment. Alicia, wasn't she presumed missing after the Elysium bombing? Lucas sniffs. The woman has more lives than a cat, and that's not what's important now. What she's admitted to in this text is definitely worth one of her lives. Wait, you say. Your brows furrow with confusion. Why would she admit something like that through text? Lucas smiles. Don't forget how old most Primogen are. They're like the grandfather that thinks his emails are completely secure and still has indexed browser history from 5 years ago that he doesn't know exists. And that's assuming they even know how to use a modern phone at all. I assumed that Alicia would be more savvy. Assuming gets people killed. And you're assuming that this isn't a trap. Alicia's tech savvy enough to run several websites and servers. What if she found out about the bug you planted on Basaris' phone? That's a good point. So what you planning to do about it? You can't possibly take Alicia on in a fight. That's a bad idea. Did she say what it was they stole? This could be a lot to do about nothing if it's just some minor trinket. Did she actually use the word steal? I'm tempted to go with that first one, because, yeah, it's true. What if she found out about the bug? You mean she knows how to hire... Oh, she knows who to hire to run her websites and apps for her. Not that she does it herself, Lucas says. She looks back at her phone and scrolls through the messages. It's my job to keep tabs on electronic communications. That's one of the things Corliss has me doing while I was overseas. Monitor corporate communications, deep web chatter, anything subversive, really. Caught 3 crooks trying to steal private information in my first year alone. I've got an intuition for these things. You trust me, right? It's a bit hard to say no after the events of last night. I do trust you. Can't see the forest for the trees. No, I don't think I have heard that, Wyvern. But I'm worried you might get caught. And I won't give you any support. But we should take this to Corliss. No, nothing goes to Corliss anymore. I trust you. Please don't get us killed. Man, my hair is getting really long. Look at that. Luca sighs with relief. You have no idea how good it is to hear you say that. I was worried you'd give me a lecture. Thank you, Mermaid. It's fabulous, thank you. I trust your intuition, but I can't let you do whatever you're planning to alone. Here to support you. She gives you a quick hug. I could have used you while I was away. You could have... used me? All that time alone, you could have used me. It feels good to finally have someone in my corner. Her phone buzzes again, and then scrolls to the bottom of the copied conversation. They're meeting in an hour. Come on, we have enough time to get in position. Luca! If I'm wrong and there's nothing illicit going on, I'll never ask you to do this again. I promise. I'll even delete the spyware. But you've trusted me this far, and I've been right every time. Moretti was using the church to gather a herd right under Corliss's noses, and nobody had any idea until we caught him. Basaris did try to have Key assassinated. What if this is just as bad? It's hard to argue with her, since she's not exactly wrong. Okay, you say. But after what happened with Javier, Basaris probably has an idea that someone's onto him. We need to be careful. Careful, Lucas says absent-mindedly. Absolutely. She pulls her hand towards the door. Let's go! That doesn't sound careful. Which position? What? Oh dear. In reference to what? The familiar sight of Michaelis Basaris' rented home rises out of the thick fog like a parody of a haunted house, ringed by a road... Michaelis? Probably Michaelis, right? By rows of hedges desperately in need of clipping. Oh, your position on the floor. The air is damp, the prevailing temperature rising just high enough to start melting weeks' worth of accumulated snow. You and Luca arrived just in time to hide yourselves when a black limousine pulls up the driveway. The driver skitters around the back door and opens it with a poor attempt at a professional flourish, revealing Alicia Gray. Seems like Luca was right. Miss Gray steps out. Mrs. Gray, she married. Mrs. Gray steps out, her nose wrinkled in distaste as she takes in the place. This was the best we could do for him, she asks the open air. Surely she doesn't expect the driver to know the answer to her question. A dignitary should be housed somewhere more appropriate than this tomb. She lowers her voice to a whisper which you can barely overhear, although perhaps it's fitting. God, full innuendo mode, oh dear. Shall I idle in front, mistress? The driver asks. Take the car around the block and park it out of the way where you won't be noticed. I'll text you when I'm about to leave. Of course, mistress. The sniveling servant inclines his head with respect before closing the door gently and returning to the front seat. After that, the car is long gone, leaving Alicia alone in the front yard. Her red dress shrouded by fog to the waist, up to the waist. A cold welcome, she mutters as she crosses the flagstones to the front door. Clearly, she was expecting a warmer reception. Perhaps whatever alliance may exist between the two kindred is nascent at best. Anyone who knows Alicia Gray well enough to work with her would know better than to greet her with anything less than a grandiose gesture. I want an underling to call me mistress so bad. Yes, mistress. Some little fucking goblin-ass Nosferatu hobbling about your house like Igor. Hot. Fade hovers around Alicia's shoulders. Don't Igor. Fade hovers around Alicia's shoulders, admiring her dress. Leaving someone like her out in the cold, he asks. It's just disgraceful, isn't it? His comings and goings are growing more and more peculiar. You're about to say so when Fade shrugs and disappears with a swirl of cold air. Strange. Mom. God, oh dear, imagine that. A fucking, like, little Igor-like henchman. Except instead of calling you master or mistress, he full on, yes, daddy. What did you just say? Yes, daddy. Oh dear. That's what I said, like that. Oh, dude, no. Oh, that's terrible. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, God. Oh, I was not prepared. Why are you booing me? This was your idea. Oh, dear. Oh, man. I'm not booing you. That's incredible. Oh, my goodness. Whoo! Yes, thank you. God damn it. Oh, my lord. Fuck. She doesn't seem all that comfortable here, Lucas says. Good shit. Yeah, definitely. Alicia hasn't been here before. Maybe they're not working together like you thought. Well, neither am I. This place is bad news, Luca. Bad news bears. I don't care if she's comfortable or not. She shouldn't be meeting up with someone like Basaris in secret. True. He didn't come out to greet her. Does he ever realize how insulting that is? Exactly, Lucas says with a sharp nod. This clearly isn't on the up and up. She said she stole something from Rundell, and I'm going to find out what it is and why she's giving it to a Lasombra. Bad Igor, you deserve to be... Oh, no. It's the hardest to me, using your own joke against you. Well, we're not going to find out anything if we stay here, you say. Let's get this over with. Just be careful. No fighting. No matter what, okay? Yeah, Luca says. She's already sneaking towards the side of the house. No fighting, she whispers. The two of you fade into the shadows as one. You're growing accustomed to such clandestine measures over time, and it's almost second nature to you by now. It's soon abundantly clear that neither Basaris nor Alicia expects there is anyone to overhear the discussion. Either that, or they don't care, while they're pitched in an argument. An insult is what it is, Alicia says, her voice reaching a timbre that only a diva seems capable of projecting. You wonder just how much Toreador talent she's subconsciously lacing her words with. Leaving me out in the cold, not even greeting me at the front door like a gentleman. I had such high hopes for you, McCallus, but I don't deal with boorish oafs. You can hear every word clearly from beneath the window. If the Camarilla had been willing to outfit me with a proper haven closer to Elysium, Basaris' voice drifts off and it's harder to hear until it rises again. Also early. What is that high society so often tells me? Arrive fashionably late? You have so much to learn, McCallus, Alicia says, her voice dripping with disdain. Party etiquette can hardly be applied to business meetings or exchanges of information. Good. Thank you, Princess Lydia. We can act like a gentleman. Basaris clears his throat, cutting off whatever it was she intended to say next. Let's cut to the chase, Alicia. Did the Archon's information pan out? Do you have the Prince's journal? It's right here, Alicia says, slapping something down on what you presume would be a table. And I have Miss Durand wrapped around my finger. That's bad. If true, that bad. If true, bad. Bad if true, yeah. The Archon. Why would Adeline possibly have anything to do with this? You catch yourself creeping forward as the two conspirators start walking to another room, sparring with each other. Your superior senses can still hear them, but the further away they get from you, the harder it is to hear individual words. We have to get in there, Lucas says. This whole conspiracy theory might be bigger than I thought if Alicia is working with the Archon to steal the prince's personal belongings. No one will believe us unless I get a recording, or snatch the journal they're talking about. She points to the front door, which has been left slightly ajar. be irritated enough at each other that it's making them sloppy. I'm going in. Hello? Message? I really enjoy this game. It really is just as good the second time around. Princes? Did I say prince? Oh, the prince's personal belongings. Oh, I see. Princes, yes. The princess belongings. I need to hear about this conspiracy theory with my own ears. I can always take a look at the journal later. I'll stay closer to them to get a recording. You grab the journal, Luca. Luca, please be careful. Please, Luca. Please, Luca. Don't die. I'll grab the journal while you focus on getting recorded. Between the two pieces of evidence, the front door is too obvious. We can't just walk in there. Let's look for another window. Oh, Luca. I feel like snatching the journal is shady as fuck, man. That's gonna be so fucking hard. Let me do it. Let me do it, Luca. I got maxed out decks. I don't know if you do. I get the shit. You please stay safe. Ooh. Achievement. I spy a rabbi. You duck low and gently wriggle your fingers between the front door and the jamb, pulling it open carefully to avoid any squeaking hinges or creaking floorboards. Luca pauses while you hold it open, and then you follow her, letting the door close silently behind you. Basaris's voice rises into a thundering crescendo, echoing through a hallway across from the main entrance. They seem to have stopped moving at least, so snooping without getting caught will be easier. Hard is my wheelhouse, right? The room you've been huddled in. The room you've been huddled outside. The room you'd been huddled in, right? Huddled in? Huddled is a verb. Huddled in. Outside. When you first overheard them talking about the journal. There's that. Is to your left. The rundown dining room has seen better days, and if you were a betting kindred, you'd guess you'd guess the journal is sitting on the slightly askew dinner table at the center of the room. Luca pulls up a small recording device from her pocket. It looks simpler than a smartphone. No touchscreen to accidentally tap. She grins and disappears down the hallway while you work your way towards the dining room on soft feet, not daring to move too quickly, lest you risk discovery. The stolen journal is resting exactly where you thought it would be. It's a leather-bound notebook. Its polish worn off in several places from frequent use. And it's just sitting there. I don't want to make it fall to the floor. That'd make a fucking noise. Sorry, I was reading ahead again. It's just sitting there, unguarded. Could Alicia have been so incensed by Basaris's rude greeting that she just left it while verbally sparring with her ally? Knowing Alicia's sense of pride, it's not entirely unlikely, but maybe you should be careful at the same time. I hate that our options are grab it or push it with a fucking spoon until it hits the floor. Huh? I feel like even if it is trapped, poking it with a A wooden spoon until it falls on the ground is such a worse idea. Yes. Igor. The most unhinged option is the spoon one. Oh, it is, but my fucking god. Like, imagine being in the middle of an argument and then all of a sudden you hear thud. Come from the room where you just put a book on a table. Like, don't think loud. You know what? We're grabbing the wooden fucking spoon. Better safe than sorry. It's an old proverb, but a philosophy, Jesus Christ, philosophy, worth following if one wishes to continue their unlife indefinitely. This is the man who rewinds time in Baldur's Gate 3. Every fucking roll if I have to. I don't. Zero shame. You sneak towards the other side of the end table, watching warily out for hazards and loose floorboards that might give you away with the squeaking of wood. You retrieve the wooden serving spoon easily and return to the journal, licking your lips nervously as you set to your task. You poke the leather binding with the tip of the spoon, half expecting a shock to course upwards into your body, but nothing happens. You use the spoon as a lever to lift the journal, and still nothing happens. You push it hard enough to shift it a foot over the table's polished wood surface. You sigh and pick up the journal, feeling somewhat sheepish and a little slobbery. Ugh. Maybe your concerns were unfounded, but it's possible you managed to knock it out of the warded area. Is that how wards work? You'll never know for sure, but why take the risk if you don't need to? Your part of Luca's plan is complete. You creep back towards the front door and disappear out into the night, eagerly awaiting Luca's return. She comes back, right? Right? The woman that I just successfully romanced comes back, safe, unharmed, successful. Right? 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 Hopefully she overhears something useful. If she gets caught, you're going to have a lot of explaining to do. If you both survive the encounter. Whew! For a moment I thought they were going to catch me in there. Luca says as she slides into the driver's seat and guns the engine. They missed a quotation right there. But they were too busy nagging each other to notice me. What'd you hear? You ask impatiently as she pulls the car out onto the street. Why did Basaris want the journal? Where did Alicia get it? You care about Luca being safe, or do you just know what your romance being? Be honest now. Both. I don't know, right? It's the only thing that I can get attached to in this game, so it'd be really fucking sad if she died right away or something. Ugh. I can handle you doing that. I've seen you doing that with the filter. Oh, true. Did you bring the spoon with you? No, we just fucking found this thing on the kitchen counter. That was a weird option. One thing at a time, Lucas says. Ooh. First off, if she's telling the truth, the Archon told Alicia in secret that she'd be made prince once the Anarchs were dealt with for good. So that had better be a fucking lie. You shake your head. I'm sorry. What? That makes no sense. Even if Arundel never were found, Corlys is the obvious choice, not Alicia. Whether we agree to it or not. Basaris doesn't seem to think so. He thinks the Archon is using Alicia by promising her rewards she can't deliver. Okay. Sure. Perhaps. Why do you have to inflict the world with your impression? Oh, dear. I feel dirty saying it, but I agree with Basaris. Yeah, I kind of do. I wouldn't underestimate Archon Durand. She's resourceful and intimidating. I have no idea. I have no doubt that she could move mountains if she chose to. Also, true. I think it's unlike Alicia to make bets on the wrong team. If she believes Adeline's offer, she must think it has a chance to come true. Yeah, she's also, like, vain and narcissistic to a fault. That's just what Toreadors are. Nothing can last. Nothing that lasts can be built upon so much treachery. Sorry, that's like all of medieval Europe, though. I wouldn't underestimate Archon Durand. Yes, I did get Toreador. Oh, dear. That's what I keep hearing, Lucas says. I'm not sure I like the implications when it comes to Corliss. We're linked to her in the court's eyes, whether we want to be or not. I've got a lot more to tell you, though. Maybe even more important. She turns the car northward, then downtown. Alicia says there's some kind of trigger hidden in the journal that's meant to target a certain kindred in the event of Arundel's destruction or disappearance. She said the target is one of Corliss's childer. You feel fade like the fucking genie from Aladdin stir in the back of your mind to life. But you look down at the book still clutched in your hands. That means one of us, Lucas says. Yes, it does. We may be the key to finding out what happened to the prince. This is fascinating. Storylines I never got when I last played. Wow. Among Us, Sus Among Us, Amogus, Sus Amogus. Jesus Christ. She also said it was stolen from a ghoul. One of ours. But I don't know how they'd get a hold of Arundel's property unless he left it with them, along with instructions. There's a lot of implications here that I don't want to even think about right now. Basaris also claimed that Arundel messed with his mind, implanted suggestions that he only discovered once programming wore off because the prince was gone. She pulls to the side of the road and shifts the car into park. Can I see it? She asks, gesturing towards the journal. You hand it to her and she opens it, paging through in silence as you grow increasingly frustrated. Finally, she hands it back to you. Worth a deeper dive, but I'm not hitting any triggers. Maybe you'll have better luck. Also, missed a quotation mark there. It's okay. The Brown... Did they not have, like, a copy reader or something? Oh, well. You think it's the butler. What? Who? The prince? When do I get fade? The brown leather's polish. I always want to read that as Polish. The brown leather is Polish, but the pages are Lithuanian. Has worn off in places from frequent reading. But when you flip it open, the paper inside is pristine. Oh, the ghoul it came from. It's always the butler that did it. Yeah, right. Hello, more D&D messages. I gotta stop soon if I am gonna actually release that audio before I go to D&D, which I need to because I'm not coming back till like fucking midnight or something. We stay up way too late playing that. Yikes! Oh, Princess Lydia, no! Oh, that's terrible. That's a horrible joke. Oh, God. I feel like I've heard that before, but oh, man, every time. That is some dark humor. The pages, the paper on the inside is pristine. Bleached white, each page filled with an elegant cursive script. If you had to guess, you'd say this leather cover has held dozens of notebooks like this over the years. Yes, you need your love. You know, exactly. I gotta finish it. It's almost done. It is almost done. It's a bit on the simpler side. It's a little shorter. Not a lot of sound effects, but I still gotta throw a few in there. Make sure the pacing's good and everything. So it might take me about an hour. Oh, fuck. Okay, I have to read the next page because of how this one ends. My God. You sure you want to do that? Fade appears in the back seat and leans forward, watching you intently. Why would you want to purposefully trigger the prince's programming in your mind? We have to know. You reply. A deep-seated need runs through you as you run your fingers over the journal's cover page. You could no sooner deny the siren song given off by the leather-bound pages than you could stare directly into the sun. It was meant for me. That's my hole. That one's mine. It was made for me. I don't know if you guys have read The Ghost of Amigara Fault. The Enigma of Amigara Fault. Anytime I read shit like this, that is all I can think of. No! Yeah, not a sexy sentence if you know that story. Great reference. That's mine! Turning bone-white pages. Alright, read to the end of this last page and then I have to stop. Otherwise, I just won't have enough time. You page through the journal, reading entries at random as Luca watches you. He speculates, in his words, that in the era of the beckoning, with elder kindled... Oh my fucking God. He speculates, in his words, that in the era of the beckoning, with elder kindred being drawn to the Middle East by unseen tethers, a prince could rescue themselves and watch from the sad... Oh, fuck. Speak! English, motherfucker. Do you speak it? The trigger's going to wipe out Fade. Yeah, I think it might. A prince could rescue themselves and watch from the shadows to see just how loyal their subordinates truly are. The word resonates within your mind, and suddenly your vision is flooded with memories of a scene you recall from years ago when Arundel took interest in your training. The villa, you mumble. Arundel hid himself in his villa, but something went wrong. You can read all of that, Luca asks, staring at you. You understand it. Of course, you say, glancing back at the paper. You realize it's written entirely in shorthand, and you believe you learned that from Arundel. It's funny, now that you're thinking about it, you can't actually remember the lessons. Somehow you just know how to interpret it. You read further, entranced. October 21st. That's tomorrow. The trigger phase is in the mind of Grace's child. Silas. Fade begs. Put the book down. But somehow you can't do it. You are strangely compelled to see where this thread leads. Grace's child? Luca asks. Who's Grace? You shake your head. I have no idea. You take a moment to think. We should check this out. If Basaris wants to keep this hidden, then it's in our best interest to follow the lead. Luca stays silent for a moment. She looks crestfallen, and you're not sure why. So it's you again. It's always you and not me. What do you mean? you ask, puzzled by Luca's quick shift in demeanor. Don't be daft, Fade says. She's feeling passed over again. And she doesn't realize what a blessing that can be in kindred community. I thought, for once, I'd be the special one. Not just the child who got sent away to deal with oh my god. That was a weird siren. The minutia that the bigger players couldn't be bothered with. I tried so hard to impress them. For what? She looks up at you. To play sidekick again. When I opened that journal, for just a moment, I thought that I mattered. That was silly of me. Selfish as always. Maybe that's why I never get what I want. Because I don't deserve it. Oh! Fuck! Oh, man, from dramatic to nice shot of depresso. Luca's the kind of... Oof. Luca! Luca, honey. Therapy. Luca, there's nothing special about me. We found a journal and I don't even know why I'm remembering. Okay. Shut the fuck up, Silas. She is Malkaven. I think that after the last 4 or 5 brushes we'd have with Final Death, the last thing you'd want us to be a target. I put an arm around Luca, hoping to comfort her. I don't want to talk over and make everything seem about me, maybe. You need to snap out of it, Luca. Okay. Not maybe. Definitely. That's the one we'll go with. She doesn't say anything for a while, but you can feel her slowly relax in your arms. Thank you, Silas, she says quietly. I'm glad you took time to listen to me. Most kindred I've been with never really wanted to listen. When it all came down to it, they were just waiting for their turn to speak. I feel like an idiot. Forgive me? You hold her tight. Oh, there's nothing to forgive. This whole mess feels impossible to unravel. I can't blame you for letting it get to you a little. It's gotten to me too, but we need to keep moving. Stay ahead of it or we'll get buried. Maybe we should check out Arendel's villa. You have so many questions going through your head, so many potentially misplaced loyalties. Your answers lie in the villa, but why do you feel compelled to go? Fade mutters something about you being easily led before shifting out of phase and out of mind. And that is actually where I have to stop it, or you guys are not gonna get what you want.